I was planning to have a beer or two with my friends Jack and Matt in the quaint little town where we stopped for a break. Afterwards, we would head back to our budget hotel where we spent the night and continue our journey early tomorrow. In this quiet little town with limited nightlife and few bars, my friends and I struggled to find a decent place to hang out, settling for a simple beer hall. As we enjoyed our drinks and chatted, we also kept an eye on the match playing on television. "Are you students at the university?" the bartender asked. "No, we're just passing through. We're staying here for the night and hitting the road again tomorrow," I replied. The bartender smiled and said, "Well, have a safe journey, young men. Make sure to head back to your hotel before it gets too late. This place isn't as lively as the city center." After the bartender left to serve another customer, we chuckled and remarked, "No wonder this guy is messing around with us." With the match over and nearing midnight, it was time to head back to the hotel. After paying the bill, we left the bar with the intention of returning to our hotel later. A few seconds later, a girl behind us said, "Excuse me, can you help me?" We turned around and asked how we could assist. She said, "I've been wandering around here, trying to find this address. It's getting late, and I really need to get there soon. But I think the navigation is showing the wrong address." Then she asked, "Do you guys know this place? Are you from around here?" The girl was quite attractive. I must admit I was impressed. So I couldn't help but say, "We're not from around here. But I know this place. Just wait a minute, and I'll help you." At that moment, Matt nudged me with his shoulder and whispered, "Don't be silly, mate. What are you doing?" I simply ignored his comment and moved closer to the girl. Jack and Matt said, "We're heading back to the hotel then. See you later." And they set off towards the hotel. I was pleased to finally have some alone time with this pretty girl. Holding her phone and looking at the navigation map, I saw it as a great opportunity to get to know her better. So I asked, "What's your name? Are you a university student here?" She replied, "My name is Melissa. I'm not a university student. My sister lives here, and I'm visiting her." As we moved away from the bar, the surroundings started to darken slightly. Being a small region close to the countryside, it was not unusual. After walking in silence for a while, I decided to break the silence. "Don't people get bored here?" I asked. "It's a small place," I remarked. "Why should they be bored?" Melissa responded, smiling. Her smile boosted my self-confidence, prompting me to speak up. "Melissa, do you ever visit LA? If you come, I can show you around," I offered. Melissa replied, "I've been to LA many times. My first visit was, let me think. About 60 years ago, I guess." She gave me a strange smile as she spoke. I felt a bit unsettled by her smile and the mention of 60 years. She must have a quirky sense of humor, I thought. But her attractiveness overshadowed any concerns. After walking in silence for a while, I stole glances at Melissa, hoping to keep the conversation going. Catching me looking at her, she met my gaze with her hazel eyes. "It's really dark out here," she remarked, then asked, "Are you a brave person?" What kind of question is that? I thought. But I didn't want to appear weak, so I replied confidently, "Of course, I'm always brave." Melissa started giggling, her laughter sounding different than usual, which made me wonder if something was amiss with her. Despite my attempt to leave by saying, "I guess that house over there is yours, Melissa. I gotta go now," she took my hand and asked, "Are you going to leave a girl alone in the dark of the night at this hour?" My anxiety began to rise as I stole glances at Melissa from the corner of my eye. It seemed as though she had grown taller. I reassured myself, "It's okay to feel this way. It's late, and I'm tired." As I pondered these thoughts, Melissa suddenly asked, "Why are you looking at me out of the corner of your eye? Look directly at my face." I followed her instruction and met her gaze. Her blue eyes are gorgeous, I thought to myself. But wait a minute. Weren't her eyes hazel just 5 minutes ago? I was terrified, but tried to act normal. I felt the need to escape somehow. "We're almost at your home, so I should be heading off," I said. Melissa grabbed my hand. Her fingers were long, and her nails lightly dug into my hand. "There's no turning back from here, right?" she said, giggling. "Didn't you just say you're always brave? Why the rush?" I was too afraid to meet her gaze. I followed Melissa silently as she led the way, passing houses until we reached a dirty road at the edge of the forest. Melissa broke the silence, asking, "Why don't you talk? Why don't you look at me? Don't you think I'm pretty?" As we entered a muddy, wet area, Melissa stopped and turned to me, saying, "Here we are. I'm home." With a trembling voice, I asked her, "What are you?" "You know what I am," she answered, then continued, "What would a girl do out in the middle of the night in a place like this?" Her giggles echoed loudly. "You know what I am," she repeated. My heart pounded as if it would explode. I must have fainted because when I opened my eyes after a while, my face and hands were covered in mud. It was still night, and I must have been unconscious for at least an hour. Remembering what had happened made my heart begin to race again. As I ran back towards the town, I couldn't shake the events from my mind, and I recited every prayer I knew. I made it back to the hotel before my friends woke up, washed the mud off my hands and face, and didn't sleep until morning. I knew I had to leave that town as soon as possible. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for similar content.